So it's 1:34 on April 16th, and we'll call this meeting to order. Start with the roll call, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. We'll have Ms. Briones call roll.
Good afternoon.
Mayor Dr. Victor D. Trevino, Judge Tano Tijerina, Councilmember Ricardo Rangel Jr., Councilmember Ruben Gutierrez,
Present.
Commissioner Jesse Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner John Galo,
Who? With me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here.
Councilmember Vanessa Perez,
Present.
Mr. Epigmenio Epi Gonzalez, and Mr. Jed Brown.
Present.
You do have a quorum.
Thank you.
I'll move a motion to exclude those that are not present.
Second.
Yes.
Second.
Just,
All in favor?
Aye.
yeah.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
And as per our bylaw, since the Chair and the Vice Chair are absent, we just need a motion from the committee to select a chairperson for this meeting, or someone to preside over the meeting.
Motion of Chairperson, Mayor Pro Tem Vanessa Perez.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. So we are next to citizens' comments. We have a Ryan Natividad.
I wasn't expecting to go up so soon. I'm talking regarding the Vision Zero adoption. About me, I'm a District 8 resident, one Carl household in downtown. And first of all, I wanted to thank the team that put together the Vision Zero plan and very thorough research on the data and some fantastic projects that will save lives. That said, a lot of them are relatively specific areas that are important in terms of pedestrian safety. And I would like to highlight that this has to be a starting point. It's not going to be enough long term to address the places where crashes have not happened yet, especially regarding pedestrian and bikers. So I'm asking you to use these and think about this in the future as guidelines, which there are some fantastic priorities in the plan, and to implement it at every level in a systematic fashion. And it needs to prioritize a lot of more multimodal transportation than we have historically in the past, throughout Laredo and Webb County as a whole. So I ask you to keep the momentum and remember that these are real people's lives. They could be your mothers, your parents, your grandparents, your friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Mayor Pro Tem, if I may make a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting held on March 19, 2025.
Second.
Second.
Chair, if I may, there is just a slight correction. We erroneously referenced the wrong company or entity for one of the members. So on the attendee list, we'll go ahead and correct that.
Motion to approve as amended, right?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Item 4B.
You want to recognize?
Want to recognize Councilmember Richie Rangel for the record, please. Mr. Mendiva, item 4B.
Yes, we have received public testimony and approved resolution number MPO 2025-04, adopting the amendments to the 2025-2028 Transportation Improvement Program. We did have an open comment period. We just need to ask if anyone's here to speak for or against, and then Ms. Vidones will give a very brief presentation on the item.
Is anyone here to speak for or against? For or against? For or against? Okay, we'll hear the presentation.
Good afternoon. Graciela Briones from your MPO staff. So we have this item in front of you. By law, the Transportation Improvement Program, what we call TIP, it is a document that MPOs develop in coordination with planning partners such as TxDOT and Metro to program highway and transit projects for a period of 4 years. This document, these documents from all MPOs are subsequently combined and create the STIP, which is the Statewide Transportation Improvement Program, which is revised and amended by TxDOT every 3 months. When the TIP needs to be amended, our public participation plan, our PPP, requires a 10-day public review and comment period, as well as formal action from this body prior to being incorporated into this TIP. And so after the comment period is being opened, this is one of the amendments that is proposed by TxDOT, the revision of the project CSJ 0018-06-185, the new direct connector number 3, number 4, number 6, northbound and southbound I-35 to US 59 eastbound. The purpose of the amendment is to revise the project limits that currently read from 0.5 miles east of I-35 to 0.5 miles north of US 59. And the proposed change is so the limits read from 0.187 miles south of I-35 US 59 intersection to 0.205 miles north of I-35 US 59 intersection.
Okay, to increase?
The second revision is by El Metro, requested by El Metro, and the revision is the brief project description of the Transit Federal Funding Category 5339 for fiscal years 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. The purpose of the amendment is to add the word support vehicles to the existing project description. Currently, the description reads, funds will be used for replacing heavy-duty buses and paratransit vans and bus facility improvements, and the proposed description will read, funds will be used for replacing heavy-duty buses, paratransit vans, support vehicles, and bus facility improvements.
Okay,
Mayor, may
yes.
I? Support vehicles is what exactly?
We have transit here.
Yeah, Transit is here to help us answer that, but yeah, basically, I think those vehicles to help support in their operations, so Metro, so like the additional, not like a bus, a vehicle to help support
Can you come up and answer the question, please?
the operations.
Right, help in operations, but what type of buses are we talking about?
No,
Support vehicles?
I
Because
think
there's
those support vehicles is
Specifically
like-
support vehicles, are they vans?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll let Mr.
Smaller
Garza
buses.
say those. I think to support like the supervisors that are out there, right, driving around.
Name for the record?
Good afternoon, RJ Garza, Transit Director for the record. Primarily, these 5339 monies are, we'll put them in the budget. We reserve them for, if needed, to replace a bus or a heavy-duty bus, which in this case, probably won't. But we will probably use for ADA paratransit vans. And support units, if need be, we have support units for our utility department, the maintenance department to address road calls, or utilities to address bus shelters, and the program, we maintain our own shelters and the trash pickups and things like that. So this is primarily to replace those vehicles if need be. So
So they use support vehicles not only to transport the passengers, obviously, but to also keep up with maintenance and everything else that we need from then on.
correct. And we also use some support units to transport or shuttle drivers from Scott Street all the way downtown when we have interchanges of shifts and things like that. So, yeah, we have several different support units.
Appreciate it, Mr. Garza. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes. I have a question.
Oh, you,
Sorry,
Commissioner.
mine's off topic. Whatever happened to the terminal that was supposed to be at Jackman and Bartlett?
Yeah, good question. On the council on April the 22nd, we did receive 3 bids. Unfortunately, they came in higher than we anticipated. Well, you know, we were anticipating a little bit higher, but it was a little bit way too much. And so
Welcome to our world.
we're going to regroup, we're going to rebid, but on the 22nd, we're going to have the council just reject the bids and then we're gonna work on a new RFQ, for that project, and hopefully to get that on the ground.
And then is that property subject to the city ordinances? Because I've never seen it cleaned.
It is.
We'll find
It certainly
ourselves.
is.
We may have to reduce the phase one project, we're gonna concrete the whole area, and we might have to reduce that. Concrete is very expensive, as you know. So, we're gonna reduce the scope a little bit to help get the bids down, get the project moving forward.
Councilmember?
Mr. Gonzalez, just a quick question. What's the difference between the heavy-duty buses and the regular buses? What's the difference between those?
Well, we have a few 40-foot buses. Those are considered heavy duty. So are the 35 buses, 35 footers. They're heavy-duty buses. We have 29-foot buses. They're still considered heavy-duty because of the engine and the weight of the unit. But regular units are like the lift vans, the cutaways. Those are lightweight, light-duty buses, and yeah.
Mr. Garcia, I'm sorry, Mayor, ma'am.
Yes.
To piggyback off of Commissioner Galo's question, was that for phase one
Phase one.
that we're gonna go back out to
We're
RFQs?
gonna go back for RFP on that
Okay, thank you.
construction phase.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Are you done, Ms. Briones?
Yes,
You're done with it?
we have a motion to approve
Okay.
the resolution.
Councilmember,
Motion.
Gutierrez has a motion?
I'll second.
Second? Motion and a second. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next item?
Item 4C, receive public testimony and approve resolution number MPO 2025-05, adopting the revisions to the 2025-2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, MTP.
Yeah, this item is similar to the last one. We need to amend our MTP for the same, to reflect the same changes on the tip. It's a federal requirement. So Ms. Briones will go over this. Also, we need to ask if anyone's here for or against, and we would ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
Is anyone here to speak for or against? For or against? For or against? Ms. Briones, did you need to present something to us, or do?
I have a brief presentation, Madam. It's just on the, what the MTP consists of. If you don't mind, by federal law, all MPOs are required to develop an MTP to cover a planning horizon of minimum 20 years, and it's updated every 5 years. This document is the official plan that identifies current and future transportation needs of our area. It also develops coordinated strategies to assist in providing the necessary transportation facilities essential for the continuous mobility and support the economic strength of the region.
Can you give us just a quick rundown of the projects that are on there real quick, so we can?
Yeah, here's a list that we have included in our recently adopted MTP. And the way CSJ 0018-06-185 has the limits right now existing, and the revision is to change that list to reflect the changes that we you just approved for the tip with the new limits. Same thing with this. You see limits from, limits to, and then here also in yellow is the revised, what is proposed.
Does anybody have any questions about the changes or the plan? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item?
Next item is item D, a discussion with possible action to approve resolution number MPO 2025-06, adopting the 2025 Vision Zero Web Laredo Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. I know Mr. Brown, as the chair of the RMA, would like to give a few words about this effort that they've helped lead.
Mr. Brown?
Thank you for allowing us to bring this item back before the MPO. The three partners in this project would be the RMA, the City of Laredo, and the MPO. For us to move forward with this project, we needed to have the safety action plan adopted by all three entities. The RMA's board took action a couple of weeks ago to adopt it. We're here today before the MPO, and then next week, on Tuesday, the 22nd, we go before City Council. I will say that I'm very, very pleased with the work that was done and the resulting work product. And we're done today. If any of the policy committee members want a printed copy of the final report, we have them here today to give to you all when you leave. We had over 100, I believe it's 190 meetings over the course of the last year and a half to get the community together to render out a collaborative report from the police department to the different school districts to a broad basis across our community. You may recall when we started this project, I said, if we're doing this Vision Zero project, if we don't take it to the next step, which is to go from a safety action plan to an implementation plan where we actually physically construct improvements to do work around our community, I feel like we will have failed. So we're at that point now that we're able to move forward with actual projects. There's a list that's based on analytical data that was arrived at of approximately $33 million worth of projects. 2/3 of them are TxDOT on-system projects. The rest largely fall as city projects. We're hoping that the TxDOT will be willing to move forward on most, if not all, of the projects on their list. And we'd like to figure out how we can work with the city of Laredo in partnership to move forward with projects that are on the list that falls on the city. It'll be part of the slide that Jason will present here in a minute. We've had active meetings with the Assistant City Manager, Ramon Chavez, with TxDOT to chew on the list to move forward so that we can figure out which makes sense, which we can budget, which we can fit in. And ultimately, it's all about safety, less wrecks, saving lives. So you'll see us in before council on Tuesday. I think it's consent agenda. If anybody wants to pull it off, they can, but we'll be ready to present if necessary, but you'll hear the presentation today. I asked Jason to give us a 5-minute presentation. He could get up there and go for 45 minutes. He doesn't get to do that.
5 minutes max.
Okay, so you put him on the timer. If y'all ask him questions, I told him that doesn't count against him, but he's ready to present.
Give us the rundown.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that setup, Jed. And for the record, my name is Jason Rodriguez. I'm with LJ Engineering, representing the RMA here to present about Vision Zero Web Laredo. So we're really happy to say that on VisionZeroWebLaredo.com, you can go there already now, and the completed report with 6 of the 11 appendices, so we still have some appendices to work out, are available there. And as Mr. Brown mentioned, we do have some hard copies if anybody up here on the dais would like one for themselves. So just to kind of give an overview of what we found, this started with an analysis. Essentially, we start with that latest data set from 2018 to 2022. We identified that there were 119 victims of fatal or serious injury crashes in 2022 alone. That's across Webb County, primarily in the city of Laredo. And then over that whole 5-year period, there's over 40,000 crashes of all sorts of types throughout that. And so what we did is try to understand, well, why are these crashes happening? We're able to basically reduce it down to 3 major contributing factors. Obviously, there are more than this, but those are speeding, drug and alcohol impairment, and seatbelt usage, essentially. And then we identified a series of actions that could be taken that would demonstrate a commitment to safety, equity, education, and resources. So just to kind of go over what we did, this is our overall timeline. We did get a grant from Federal Highway Administration to engage this, and that started in fall of 2023. Move up to February of 2024, that's when this body, as well as the RMA board and city council, all adopted a pledge to reach 0 fatalities and serious injuries on Laredo roadways and Webb County roadways by 2040. So that pledge was taken. That's also a requirement of being eligible for the implementation funds. And then those 190 engagements that Mr. Brown mentioned, that kind of happened primarily in that March to May timeframe. We did also receive almost 700 individual survey responses and over 3,500 total comments. So a lot of input was sought out, both from the public and from various stakeholders. And then we fast forward to the fall, where we had these meetings with TxDOT, with the city staff, to really understand the actions that would go in there and the recommended projects that we had. So that brings us to today, where we've put the plan together. We've got that, like I said, up on the website, and we're looking for adoption. Again, another condition of being eligible for those implementation grant funds. And I'll show you a list of projects here in just a minute that we're looking at to be able to pursue that. So that's the next step that we have ongoing after this. I would like to take a moment to just acknowledge the involvement that we did have, and this isn't just us reaching out, this is actual active engagement that others had helping us to put this plan together. Particularly want to just highlight City of Laredo, TxDOT, the two school districts, the MPO, very involved throughout the entire process, and then the rest of the list, we did have lots of participation at various points that was critical to us really putting together a good set of recommendations.
Thank you.
So this is the capital plan that came out of this. So what I will say is this, you see $33 million here. Much of that, 20 million of this is in TxDOT right of way, 10 is in the city's right of way. And then we did identify some school bus stop locations with United Independent School District that's just outside of the Laredo city limits there, right under the table. You kind of see those dots in the colonias there to the east. So that's kind of where that is. And what I should say is that even though the plan is complete and we're asking for it to be adopted, we are still working with UISD and LISD to advance some of the implementation already. So in the case of United, we are working with them on a design for this school bus stop. And then with Laredo Independent School District, we have identified working with them on doing audits of 6 of their campuses to really understand the safety conditions around those campuses. So that's us still doing the work through the end of the summer, and those will become appendices that are part of this plan. But that's a step towards implementation already. And then just to show you an example, this is kind of how the capital plan is represented in the plan. There's 4 pages for each project. It's essentially laying out the corridor, showing you kind of the contributing factors. In other words, why did we make these recommendations? Recommendations that should be made corridor-wide, and then very specific spot ones, and then of course the cost. So in this case, Houston Street, which goes through downtown and across 35 east of downtown, in this case, is just under $1 million for the improvements that have been prescribed here. And so, like I mentioned before, I showed you on the previous list, we've got 16 of these corridors included there. So,
do the grants cover 100%, or are they matching grants?
They're matching grants. So this would be 80-20 match, and the discussions that Mr. Brown was mentioning are us trying to find that 20 to understand what we're going to go after.
On a project-by-project basis, right?
I think in total, we can definitely package these projects any way that we need to. I think it really just depends on the local match that we're
May I take a stab at your?
Yes.
The answer is 80-20. We have to come up with 20%. And that's where we're hoping that TxDOT can come up with 20% for their project specifically, and then we have to look at the other projects to see where we can come up with the monies, whether we do a 50-50 or something like that. I know your assistant city manager, our assistant city manager has been working on that with finance, trying to figure out what monies are available. And we have a meeting next Tuesday at 10 a.m. at TxDOT to talk about these projects before we come into city council. But it is an 80-20 match. And we can submit all of these or a few of these, whichever we choose to do. We don't have to submit the entire list. What's also good is any of the participants in this study have the ability to go in after implementation dollars to get them. For someone like TxDOT, I think it's a great win. If they can put together $20 million worth of projects for only 20% of that, I think it's a feather in TxDOT's cap, personally. And they're looking at things, projects they have that might actually overlap with these projects. So,
did you have a question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted, the Del Mar project, what is that?
So the Del Mar link that you're seeing here, if you look on the map, 16, it's right in the middle where that 16 is McPherson. So it's going, I believe, about a half mile in each direction from McPherson, and it's including some pedestrian visibility improvements and some intersection improvements.
Not the widening, just like Del Mar, where it goes down to 2 lanes.
We don't have any proposals for widening in any of these.
My
particular
commissioner
projects.
doesn't want to do that over there. Over the council.
Any other questions?
How about the Zapata Highway number 7?
Zapata Highway, yeah. So that one is a long stretch of that is has a continuous left turn lane, and so one of the things that we would have to look at with the community in that stretch is to see about access management solutions there. So that one primarily a lot of left turns were the crash, caused.
The important, sorry.
Yes,
So number 7, I will say, let me piggyback off Mr. Gonzalez. Number 7, that number, the left turns, what was that exactly? That's number 7, that's along all Zapata Highway?
So basically, there's a string of incidents along that corridor, and since they're all sort of concentrated, we just identified the whole corridor to make various improvements on. So.
And is it just eliminating left turns, or what are you doing?
No, I don't have memorized all of the improvements for all of these corridors, but they are in the plan very specifically
Can we
stated.
get a
Mayor,
copy of the plan?
We have them here. Yeah,
We do,
we
yeah.
have copies for each person. We just didn't know if we wanted to pass them
I'm
on.
sorry, I see the biggest ticket item that I see here is number 12, McPherson Road, and that's in my district. $6.3 million, what exactly are we doing there in particular?
So that one is definitely converting, most of that cost is associated with converting the left-hand turn lanes into intermittent raised median. So again, for that to happen, that would have to go through an entire environmental process, interacting with businesses and things like that. But that is a high dollar amount item because it does also require you to do mill and overlay, things like that. So, but that's the cost
Like
structure.
Saunders, it looks like Saunders?
I believe Saunders is at one of its ends.
No, but what they did before on Saunders with the raised medians and a lot of restricted left-hand turns.
Similar.
I have a question. The Economic Disadvantaged County Program, the EDC, is, can you come up for the,
They're going to pass the reports, that way we get to see the details
Yeah.
as well.
I would like to add something, if it's okay, that when the city made the trip to Washington, I believe Melissa was there, I know that the highway administration they have the monies for these projects. They're almost begging us to go in and apply for these monies because they're ready to start deploying them. So that the money is available.
but that, they want us to apply for the 80%.
Correct.
Okay,
Well, for the
but-
whole entire project, we still have to come up with a 20% match. But they do have the 80% available. And
Melissa,
yes,
can you
ma'am.
respond to the Economically Disadvantaged County Program to help with the 20%?
Right, so, historically, EDC funds that are funneled through Texas Department of Transportation, those funds, so that the 20% match are eligible for an EDC relief. So based on the annual amount that Webb County is eligible for relief, you would typically get that relief off your 20% match. These Federal Highway Administration funds through SS4A are not funneled through Texas Department of Transportation. They come directly through the project sponsor. So in this case, they came directly, the funds that we had for the Safety Action Plan and future funds for implementation will get funneled through the RMA, City of Laredo. So they do not have an EDC relief.
Well,
It's
what
a
if-
straight 20% match without the EDC relief.
Well, what if TxDOT was to become the sponsor for some of these? Would they be able to funnel it that way?
No, because in that case, they're also a project sponsor. And other Federal Highway Administration programs, TxDOT acts as more of an oversight agency, and that's where the EDC relief comes in. And actually, TxDOT actually signs off on the EDC relief. In this case, this particular program for SS4A, it does not have relief off the 20% match. And we tried, we actually thought it was gonna have EDC relief when we were applying for the funds. We had meetings with Federal Highway Administration, you know, we would listen to the training programs, and this particular program of funds does not have an EDC relief. It's just the way the program was formatted.
So we would have to find the money in
The
our,
entire
in our
20%.
research.
Let me ask, these monies that you say are out there, now, they don't have to be up for on-system roadways, this is off-system roadways?
Both on and off. The list that you see, it's both on and off system. Some are TxDOT projects, some would be non-TxDOT, so off system or city
I'm saying
streets.
it is available for off-system?
Yes, sir.
Because we have trying to get legislation passed to help on colonias. And so we're trying to convert them into PIDs or PUDs or whatever the apparatus needs to be with the help of legislation. And so if we have some dollars available here that you know, tax to the match.
So there's some benefits to some Colonia School District projects, some design projects. You want to go over that, Jason?
Yeah, well, we do have the, as you can see out here in the east area, we've identified 15 locations for bus stops where they've got about 200 kids going to UISD schools getting picked up. And some of the roads are paved, some of them are not. And so that seemed like a really good idea. Specifically, you know, getting out into Webb County, you know, to include as well, so.
Could you all send me whoever got the better idea of where these monies are available so we can show the legislature what kind of monies we're seeking? To maybe, our biggest problem in these colonias is getting the streets converted, because they're all private streets usually. And so they're just easements, and so we're looking for a mechanism that actually would be doing a taking and convert those streets to a public street, and then we can apply monies to get them fixed.
Councilman?
Mr. Brown, just a question for you. So I'm looking at approximately $10 million for the city to fund these. You're saying 80% of that will be funded by the state?
No,
Or that's our portion?
there's $10 million worth of projects, and correct, for the city's list?
Yes.
Of those, it'd be 80-20, so 80% would come from
Federal.
Washington,
Right.
and 20% would come from
Okay.
the city. But there might be a way that we could work with you all, the RMA, to come up with some money, and you all come up with some money to implement the project. So we need to come up with $2 million.
$2 million.
We'll go 70-30, how's that?
I'll do 50-50.
50.
You know, a really good example is, you know, the TxDOT projects. So they've got 21 million, there's 80% is $21 million, roughly $21 million.
Right.
Their 20% match is roughly $4 million. So for a $4 million investment, there's $21 million worth of project funds that can come
That's a
in for
great-
that $4 million investment.
Great leverage to your money.
It is, it's a really good investment, so.
And ultimately, we're just talking about saving lives, right? And that's their mission as well, so.
That's our primary goal.
Any other, does anybody need to see anything else from your presentation?
This is good.
If you have more questions, just.
There's a motion to accept.
Second. Make a motion to accept.
Make a motion to
Second.
accept. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you for your work. Appreciate that. All right, next item.
Get me again.
Moving on to the reports and presentations. On 5.
That, you get me again. In your packet, you have an update from the RMA on the projects that we're working on right now too, that I'll mention some specifics, because I checked. One of them would be that's South Laredo districts, I think 1, 2, and 3. The Concord Hills project. I got an update from the engineer that's working with Mr. Chavez with Rick Villarreal, who said they have started on the construction plans. They're about 4 to 6 weeks away from a submittal set being sent to the city. The surveys, I believe, have been provided to the city, and then contracts for acquisition of the right-of-way is now in the city's domain. I think that's correct, so the city can start working on acquiring the right-of-way that's needed for that road to be built. Our participation in that is giving the city $1 million to help pay for part of the project, and we've also been quarterbacking all the meetings to get it to this point. But we've really enjoyed working with Ramon and all the different departments of the city to get this moving along. Then the other would be Springfield Phase 4. There was a groundbreaking about probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, and that's only a 90-day contract. Then we're probably a month into it, so in about 60 to 70 days, I expect there will be a ribbon cutting ceremony or some event out there, but that'll connect Springfield to Loop 20. TxDOT's already done their portion of that work, so you'll be able to get off of, make a right turn off of Loop 20 and go south all the way to, is it Shiloh? Am I correct on that? Yeah, okay. So that'll open up a bunch of roadway there. And I've always seen Shiloh and Concord as almost kind of similar north-south arterials that are in real close proximity to other major roadways.
Great,
I have a question.
yes?
Again, off topic, but Mr. Brown, I think you can help us the most. I think we need to get a committee together to look at well, Killam's doing that new industrial park right next to Uniroyal or Unitrade. What's it called? Unitrade? What is it called?
Uniroyal?
Yeah,
Uniroyal.
Uniroyal. And then Majestic, that is a nightmare out there. I think the railroad is, causing,
Yeah,
a lot of noise.
I'm not as familiar with everything going on the south side closest to UP as the north side, because we've had presentations where Eddie Gutterson from Crane came in and talked about the congestion there and what could happen with a relief route to the north. I've heard Killam in discussions with Vallecillo talk about what they have planned east of 35 and around the railroad. I don't know how quickly that would develop, but there's potentially a relief route coming around the railroad to the south too.
I talked to David not that long ago, and, he said he wanted to get together, and I'd love to get the stakeholders all together and see what the city and the county can do. The city owns 1,500 acres out there, still, you can't do anything because you can't get to it, So I think we need to develop a north-south corridor quickly, because, that Uniroyal, overpass will be under construction here in a few years, and that'll probably take quite some time. And it's already a nightmare, so you can imagine.
Maybe we can set up a meeting with a few of us.
Yeah, I think I love that idea. If we don't start looking at it now,
I'd love to go through the RMA, because you can just move so much faster than, the
Sure,
other
y'all,
entities.
you following this? Let's work to set something up.
Again, we get, the Majestic people, and, they had asked for a tourist, but they wanted to do it all internal, so I think the city and the county need to get together and put some monies out there to do a north-south corridor, at least, get over to the new Rusinger.
Absolutely.
And then I don't know what TxDOT has, I don't know what you call the overpass to the south of Uniroyal, the one that's, south of Carrier.
Actually, those have
It doesn't line up with Killam Industrial, and I don't know what it would take to realign.
Tres Equis?
Um,
Not dos, tres.
What it would take for us to realign that road, and again, if the parties are willing. I mean, I looked at it on the map and it seems like it's feasible. Now, also, is that overpass high enough to clear the railroad on the east side?
It should be, yes. It should be.
Because that may be a real quick solution, if we could extend over the railroad. I mean, I know nothing's quick with the railroad, but extend over and then do a parallel road, maybe on the east side of the railroad.
Well, because that overpass is existing and it's gonna take, we're still looking at 29 to 30 before the Vallecillo overpass could be done, so.
I know David mentioned the Vallecillo, but that, again, that's years in the making.
Well, I think.
But we need those poor people need some emergency relief, and then if, again, anything, God forbid, something happens, they can't get out of there. There's no exit. We gotta get, I guess, east, and then connect McPherson, or something.
Yes, sir. I do know that Eddie Gutterson from Crane Engineering's put a lot of time into studying relief routes to the north to get out, because he's the engineer for that association out there. But there's a lot going on to the south that needs to be figured out now too.
But, I mean, if we can get to the north of the Rusinger overpass, or whatever it's called.
If I may, I will mention, I know the project that Mr. Brown is referring to, also has been looking at a relief route through the Union Row area out to the Charles Ruthinger extension. They did have a cost estimate of about 11.6 million. We added that to our unfunded Metropolitan transportation list. We have that project on our long-range list, but of course we need funding, so partnerships would really help in pushing that
I think
forward.
that needs to be a high priority, I think. And like I say, I don't know if there's a clear route through Majestic to be able to get there. You know, so maybe, all the killing industrial traffic can get over it until an overpass is built or something. So like I say, I think we need all those stakeholders.
Can you add that to your, report for the next meeting so we can have a better elaborate discussion on this?
We can add it, hopefully we can have a meeting by then. If not, we can at least give a report on what steps have taken place.
Right.
Don't let me forget.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other questions for this item?
No, that's not-
All right, thank you. Do you need a motion from us or anything?
No,
No,
we got it.
Item 5B?
Yeah, the next item are the TxDOT project. Excuse me, the next item are the TxDOT project updates.
You're either going deer hunting or that's safety related. Which is it?
Yeah, it's,
Turkey hunting.
Both.
No, I think the turkey would see him. Yeah, because it's not season.
Quick presentation, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll go quick. Somehow it's not responding. Okay, we can do it like that.
Yeah, just,
So yeah, this time I started with a summary. Again, nothing has changed a whole lot
name
from
for the record,
from.
please.
I'm sorry, Jose Vargas, Laredo engineer for the record.
Thank you.
So I'm going to present the summary of projects for TxDOT in the boundaries of the MPO. So again, nothing has changed a whole lot since last month on the overall volume that we have of projects. We're still working on 24 active projects and over $900 million. And again, the scope, as discussed, right, we have major rehabilitations, we're preventive maintenance of system breaches, and of course, the reconstruction to interstate standards on Loop 20 or US 59. So the first one is US 59 expansion. Last month I discussed that the contractor has started to haul a flexible base in preparation for the northbound frontage road. This month he has placed a considerable amount of base. We are preparing, hopefully, let me check my notes, tentative end of May to start placing hot mix, what we call bond breakers, so that's the layer before concrete pavement. So again, end of next month, we'll start seeing some hot
Project's
mix.
on time?
It's currently on time, yes. And we're about 22% complete. Expected completion 2029, so we're a year into a 5-year project.
Great.
Next one is SH84 at Charles Ruthinger. Again, we continue hanging beams. Previous pictures that I have shown, contractor is already placing some concrete panels in preparation for deck pours. Deck pours are expected early May, so we can start doing some, again, pouring of slabs in the bridges. And this is the last bridge you see there. We're placing some beams, and again, just an overall footprint of how the project is looking on the right picture with the software already prepared and the shaping of the intersections of that corridor.
That's very exciting, and you guys are working quickly, so that's awesome to see.
Yeah, it helps that it's we call it a green project. It's a brand new right of way. We're still working around some utilities there, but our project is moving along. SH359 widening. Yesterday I discussed that we were preparing for the complete traffic switch. We did it, and now we are hauling base in preparation for the new roadway on the divided portion. We continue with some storm drain on the new acquired right of way, and again that project is halfway. Again, expected completion day summer of 2026. Investment on that project is around $50 million.
Great.
Lomas del Sur overpass. So last time start date was around April. It got pushed back a month due to the fabrication of retaining wall panels. So again, our PIO is still trying to work out the schedule for the attendees to the groundbreaking. So once we have a date, we'll share that with all of you so we can again celebrate the start of this project. And I know it's been a discussion on the barrier, so I went ahead and put some pictures from the plans. So this is overlapping. So we're installing the concrete barrier here in the middle of the main lanes. I think I need to make it a little bit larger.
So the start date will push to June, or you're keeping to
the
that
end
date?
of May.
Okay.
The end of May. Yeah, May 26th. That was the last request shows.
That's pretty good.
So concrete barrier here in the middle. This is the transition from again the existing roadway to where we open up to the bridges. You see the barrier there, and then it's gonna be twin bridges over Lomas del Sur, and again everything's gonna be protected all the way to the existing barrier at 359.
Great.
Let me real
Yes,
quick.
Commissioner.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it does, but it does include a traffic signal, right, for the,
At the bottom, yes,
At the
sir.
bottom,
Yes. Mhm.
so at the beginning was like, not yet or yes and no, but obviously this is a fully funded
Yeah,
project.
if we can picture it, it's gonna look like maybe Loop 20 and Clark, Loop 20 and Sanders.
Yeah.
So we have the main lanes over, and then at the bottom for access, and of course to access Lomas, it's a full intersection.
And both sides on Cuatro Vientos, especially the east side, that we did that alignment, everything there is ready. We don't have to do any modifications for that as well.
We're gonna be tying into, I guess, existing infrastructure, but for the most part, everything, is there. Will be minimal. We just need to work, the transitions to the existing infrastructure, actually on both ends. So I think last time I discussed that we'll be moving traffic around, but the idea is to always have access to, that way is Lomas.
Correct,
Yes.
to the west side.
Yeah, and the other one is the realignment of Wormser.
Wormser on the east.
So, yeah, unless, of course, there's an emergency, but as we move through the construction, we're gonna have access. We're gonna manage access for that connection.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Seeing here, it's all on the same grade. Do you all ever consider using the movable barriers, so like they do in Houston and other places where, in the morning you can make it 4 lanes to one side and then you move it to 4 lanes the other way in the afternoon, the coming and the going, instead of just having.
Right now, I don't believe we have the volumes to do that, or the equipment. Of course, that requires very specific operation to move those.
Not just,
Yeah,
just truck. doesn't-
yeah. Like for example, right now
They
we're
have them in
investing.
Austin right now.
Yeah, we're investing in expanding what we call Loop 20 to US 59. We're gonna have 3 lanes of traffic. I think the way they use it there is on the peak hours. They open 1 lane for people to go into the city, and then they move the barrier to go out.
Correct.
So as of now, I don't think we have the volumes for an operation like that. So
You probably have the
this is-
volume, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it
I
backs
don't
up
know.
how many miles right now in the evening? I don't know what the morning's like going out, but coming back, I know at 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
it's backed up to the airport.
From like Jackman all the way, well, at least to Saunders, and after that it kind of like,
Is it possible for
On
TechStop
59?
to look into that as
Right,
far
not too
as
far
the
down the
volume
road.
coming in and the volume going out?
For Cuatro Vientos or for
I guess
any
any
other-
future project, I think we'll do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I can discuss
Best
that
use
with
for that.
our traffic section, but yeah, that's a very unique operation that they have in these metro areas. But yeah, we'll definitely see if I can bring something next month.
Thank you.
And last but not least, SH 255 rehabilitation, again, percent complete 11. We're continue working on expanding the structure, the drainage structures, but the contractor has already started moving some material in preparation to construct the passing lanes. So again, within the next couple of months, we could see some roadway being constructed already. And again, total investment for this project is 25 million. And we have around 8 miles of rehabilitation starting from 35 going west.
Can you also include on the next report the schematic that TechStop came up with and had the public meeting and, to elevate Mines Road?
Oh, yeah.
That was an exciting
So
project, but we hadn't talked
the
about it
consultants will
yet.
be here next month to present on that feasibility study.
Yes.
So they'll be, the district and the consultants we'll be presenting at next month's meeting. They're already scheduled.
Because it was exciting to see that project, number one, and then to see that it's coming as a TxDOT driven and not coming through MPO.
$2 billion.
Kind of, you know, to compete with the other projects that we have, because it'll take forever to do. So, I think it'll be exciting for us to support that. I know there's gonna be another meeting in June coming up, so we can all, go out there and support that, so.
I'll coordinate with you, Juan,
Yeah.
if that's covered.
Yeah, I believe Adriana Munoz from TxDOT reached out to me.
We already coordinated for next month. We'll give you a percent.
For Tim, yeah, we got a presentation at the RMA board meeting on it, our last board meeting. It's exciting.
I'm so
It's
excited about this.
It's big.
Yes, I was, like, you guys just came out of nowhere with it, and it was like a pleasant surprise, but.
All right.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much,
Right,
TxDOT.
thank you so much.
Juan, any other questions or any other reports?
No, yeah, the director's comments next, and that's a good segue. You're mentioning the FM 1472 feasibility study. So I did attend the March Texas Transportation Commission meeting in Austin, and I did provide public comments at that meeting. So I spoke to the commission on our key projects in the region, you know, including that study. I brought that up, just saying that we're, you know, ready to support the alternative that's decided on. And also State Highway 84, which our Ruthinger spoke about Vallecillo Road's progress, and also spoke about the remaining funding gap on Vallecillo IH-35 interchange. So I presented that at the meeting. Of course.
Did you do it as a public comment, or was it a meeting with them?
No, this was at their open meeting, so I had to sign up for a public comment, and it was, you know, you're limited to 3 minutes.
But did they engage with you, or it was just?
I think during public comment,
Yeah.
you know, they're instructed not to engage.
Okay.
But I mean, they nodded their heads, you know, they know the project we're talking about, the support. So yeah, it's important. We'll be going back as well every month, but yeah, I mean, the reception seemed positive.
Great.
Yeah, so I provided those updates. Also attended the National Planning Conference. Myself and Gracie Briones attended that. And I went to a session on safety, right, on Vision Zero. So something that I took away from there, the presenter mentioned, right, that Vision Zero is so important, right, and that it's, you know, isn't it worth it even if you save one life? So I want to congratulate the Vision Zero team for all the work they did and everything y'all have been doing. I think this is going to be great for the community. And again, you know, the goal is to get to zero by 2040, but like the presenter mentioned, even if we save one life with this project, you know, it's been worth the effort. So the other thing, we have the microtransit feasibility study update as well. We've been working on that. We'll be presenting, the consultants will be presenting to this committee in May, the findings of that study. I did fail to mention on my previous item, just, you know, the directors for the MPO across the state have been invited to attend a meeting with TxDOT senior leadership in Austin on April 24th in the afternoon. That's the same day as the Transportation Commission meeting. So I will be going to the commission meeting in the morning, and then this leadership meeting with senior leadership of TxDOT in the afternoon. So also, again, we send out calendar invites for that commission meeting if anybody wishes to attend.
This month on the 24th.
Yes, that's correct. So that's next week already. In May, the meeting does conflict with our meeting here, May 21st. So I think, you know, we'll stay back, and I'll stay back to be here at this meeting.
Can we move the meeting in May? Would you all like to move the meeting? So
I mean, yeah, I mean,
the meeting?
we could do it, but like you said, in June, I think that's when the UTP will probably be presented. I think that's even a better meeting to go to. We can go to in May, but I'm just thinking, I don't know if it's worth us changing the meeting, you know, for us to have to go to Austin and just get 3 minutes to speak, but we could do that. You know, it's a little bit more difficult to make sure we have quorum when we're rescheduling the meeting. So, I mean, my preference would be that we keep our meeting, and if there's other members that are not on the MPO policy committee, like other council members or other people in the community from the different member entities that would wish to attend the commission meeting, they do so.
Okay, we'll make arrangements to have somebody else represent Laredo at the May meeting.
Yeah, I think that'd be the best option.
Okay.
It'd be more difficult to get a quorum.
Okay.
And then, but again, they'll be meeting in June 20th again, so we do plan to be at that meeting as well, and we can arrange. My understanding is that June is when the UTP will be presented. If for any reason that is going to be in May or sooner, then we can ask to change our May meeting. But
Great.
that's pretty much all I had.
Anyone else? Does anyone have anything else to add? No?
Motion to adjourn?
Okay. Motion to adjourn, second, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you.
You know what, I'm thinking about this, I don't, if there was a way that we could amend this.